a year, for instance, on rent, electricity. And we have all these totals since 1937. I want to read you some of these totals. The total amount we spent for airtime for Glendora TV ads was $545,000. The total amount that we spent for rent was $291,000. The total amount that we spent for telephoning is $100,000. We spent $100,000 on telephoning. The total amount that the federal government, federal withholding, took out of our paychecks was $99,000, federal withholding. Are these interesting to you, and how do they compare with your totals? Groceries from 1937 through 2006. $92,000. Car repair is the next highest. $82,000. Postage since 1937. $50,000. A chat with Glendora and technical equipment like cameras, videotapes, batteries. $46,000. Gasoline. $44,000 in a lifetime. Well, not yet. Printing. $39,000. FICA. Federal insurance taken out of your paycheck. $38,000. Videotaping, $31,000. Donations receipted, money given away, $31,000. Office supplies, $29,000. Clothes, $27,000. Gifts, $17,000. Household, $12,000. Newspapers, $9,000. Franklin was a newspaper reporter. And he bought newspapers wherever he could see them. Cleveland Plain Dealer, Boston Globe, New York Times, do you have any announcements, folks? This is, just a second before I read you this, this is Mary Ramage again. It is Wednesday and I am watching and Little House on the Prairie. And thank you, Thursday, for .com. She's a great fan of .com. She never calls me on the phone, but what she asks, what is .com doing now? Thank you for .com's pretty face. And Sebastian sleeping. That's the other cat, Sebastian. Thank you for your letters, Mary Ramage. And then she writes down what she sees on the screen. Medical students, thank doctors, thank donors for bequeathing of bodies. Judges agglomerate. Judges agglomerate. They form themselves into a ball. They collect themselves into a ball, a mass. They cluster. And they all do the same thing. And with them, the game is aggrandizement. They try to make themselves great or greater as to honor, wealth, position, preferment, prestige, and they get none of this. Nobody likes them. It's beautiful weather today, folks. July 14th. Nice little breeze. And everything's so green. And we have a hornet right on the camera. Did you want me to take your picture, hornet? Well, nothing hurts like a hornet bite. Ooh. Wow. Okay, this is the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct. And this was received on June the 27th, and it was memo endorsed by Glendora soon thereafter, July 4th. And it's about the incompetence of the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct. It says, TV audience and internet audience, are you struck with amazement? They have been admonished, they have been notified. It must be that they are tentacled so deeply they cannot extricate themselves. And this is, to me, as to the judicial misconduct of Brian Hansberry, a judge in the City Court of White Plains. Nobody could have done a job as a judge worse. And what do? The Commission on Judicial Conduct? They let him go. They let him go. The Commission on Judicial Conduct we pay for to protect us from bad judges, and they fail utterly, totally, completely. And they are adynamic, they've lost their dynamics, they're impotent, and they're derelict, and they continue habitually constitutionally, lacking in courage, commonly contemptuous. This is the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct. They gather themselves into a ball, a mass, a cluster, and kid themselves that they thereby aggregate wealth, power, rank, honor, and as I said before, they get none of that. And it does not exist. Daily they make New York State worse, corruption more severe and more offensive. They addle with more commotion and perturbation. This is the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct. Totally useless. They have failed the constitutional requirements of both state and nation. They have perjured their oaths and implemented the self-executing mandates of the 14th Amendment, Section 3. A judge who perjures his oath loses his job. 4. A judge who perjures his oath loses his pension. Now, this is not only a judge. Anybody else on the Commission of Judicial Conduct had to take an oath to protect the Constitution. They have committed treason and sedition against the people, that's you, and are a danger to the land. Glendora continues her prosecution of the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct. And of course, a copy of this goes to Elena Sasauer. And Doris Sasauer, who know completely and thoroughly and disgustingly their record and have fought them in the courts. In fact, Elena Sasauer celebrated her anniversary of being sent to jail for 6 months because she went to the Senate Judiciary Committee and spoke up and told the truth about a candidate unqualified to be appointed a United States District Judge. And because she told the truth, she was sent to jail by a judge who no longer deserves the title of citizen of the United States. Thank you, Elena Sasauer. Thank you, Doris Sasauer. Tenants and Neighbors is a non-for-profit organization calls for housing reforms. And for you people in New York, here's their newsletter. Tenants and Neighbors is the name of the association. And they protect you against greedy landlords. They're located in Manhattan, down on something street. I think it's down in the Village. Tenants and Neighbors. And I think it would be good for you to join them if you have a bad landlord. Tenants and Neighbors alert. The Rent Guidelines Board wants to price you out of the city. Tenants and Neighbors is going all out to stop the Rent Guidelines Board from imposing another unfair rent hike. They're bought and sold. You know, they're always going to be on the side of the landlord. Because, I think, a few bucks. Skip from one hand to another. I would like to call your attention to the meat analogs. All of these products are made either from grain or from soybean. And they contain no cholesterol. You know, don't go to your doctor for cholesterol. Don't take cholesterol pills. Just stop eating meat. Just stop eating animal products. And some of these products are Big Frank's. It's a delicious Frankfurter. Chili. Excellent. Chocolates. All of these products look like meat and taste like meat, but have no soybean and eschew cruelty to animals, bludgeoning, all the other cruelty that goes with the slaughter of poor, innocent, defenseless animals. Dinner cuts, fried chick, linkettes, that's a sausage, prime steaks, saucettes, savory dinner loaf, scallops. You prepare these just the way you would bloody meat. but they're salubrious. They're healthful and they're delicious. And you know you're eating with health. June 28th is the anniversary of Ruth Sassauer's brave stand for a man who should not have been appointed as a United States District Judge. Okay, I guess that's all of the announcements. What are you going to do next? We also welcome Manchester, New Hampshire to the Glendora Public Access Network, TV network. I know it's being played because I received 2 calls from 2 young men up there. Do you know that computers are in the Bible? Yes. Eve said to Adam, "Do you want an apple too?" Well, I think we did a good job reporting to you what's going on, the evils that are stacked up against you, but showing you that the way you fight evil is just to do good. You go out and do more good. And we believe in your perfection. We believe that you can be perfect. And we urge you to spend your alone time with God the first thing in the morning. Get a devotional and read a Bible passage every morning. The one this morning was beautiful. It was about Jesus Christ, who said, "I and my Father are one. I am in my Father and my Father is in me." That would be John 10. And then read the meditation about the Bible passage. Then say your prayer. And then sing your hymn. Every 15 minutes rejoice about something. And at the start of every hour, count 15 blessings. Let's count 15. And this will cheer everybody up. And now we have this wacky letter from Roberta Nicholson, Executive Officer of National Association of Realtors, the chapter in Hudson. I am in receipt of your latest letter. Please note that we are, as per previous correspondence, the Columbia Green Board of Realtors has agreed not to proceed on your complaint. As per Council's instructions, I am writing to ask that you please cease from sending further correspondence regarding these issues. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Roberta Nicholson. Well, received by Glendora on Groundhog Day 2005. Memo endorsed by Glendora, Friday the 4th, February 2005. Now, every paper you have sent Glendora has been done. We have 239 elegant words, but your opacity is best expressed in the vernacular. Glendora sends you 30 pages of National Association of Realtors infractions by Natalia Preferred Country Properties. Right then, had you not been a fraud, you should have dealt with them. But you send Glendora 8 pages of Code of Ethics and Standards of Practice and dump the burden on Glendora, then you the whole world, then you teach the whole world that any member can get around the code standards simply by transgressing a huge number of them, because then the by then the complaint becomes too complex for you to intercept. Your appeal process is not meaningful. Failing also. You have exposed your code of ethics and standards of practice to be rhetoric. But worse, you have revealed your fraud. You have deceived the public. That's so, remember folks now, National Board of Realtors, R. That was not an invitation to a tea party that Glendora served you. By Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, you were commanded to answer the complaint against you and to serve a copy on the federal court. You have agreed, quote, not to proceed in your complaint, quote. What does that mean? It means Glendora can move for judgment by default against you, Rule 55 Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Per counsel's instructions, you say, your counsel does not know much about legal practice. Rules of service are strict. You are defendants. Papers must be served on all parties. Even if you and your inept counsel go pour-a-row. Your internet debut is number 4006, circa, 4th edition, scheduled in 3 weeks. Yours in truth and in Amor Patriae, Glendora. This camera can read better than I can. This is a nice little book, the Glendora Happy book. I believe it was published in 1979. See all the pretty color pages? This is the deluxe edition. This is a plastic cover. Plastic cover. Now, this one over here is the paperback cover. Now, it's a nice little book, and it tells you how to be happy. It's elementary. It's kind of introduction, but if you did what was in this book, I think you would make it. And that's my dearest wish for you. You want a Glendora Happy book? Okay. Then you can call and get one. There was an ad in the newspaper, and it says crystal vase for sale by lady, slightly cracked. The old lady was down on the platform at Grand Central, and the conductor says, This train goes to Buffalo in 10 minutes. She says, wonderful. Last time it took 8 hours. The priest said to the little boy, if you found $20, you wouldn't keep it, would you? The little boy says, oh, no, sir. And the priest says, oh, good boy. He said, I'd spend it. Bachelor went into the store. He says, I want to buy a mattress. And the clerk says, a spring mattress. The bachelor says, no, one I can sleep on all year round. Son, studying ancient history, said, Daddy, what's a Grecian urn? And Daddy says, $9 an hour. Boy Scout leader, teaching the youth how to climb mountains, says the next thing we're going to do is to climb that steep cliff over there. And a little boy, shivering and shaking, said, for that cliff very often? And Scout leader says, no, once is usually enough. Eight o'clock, what do we rejoice about? The weather. The weather was so good today, wasn't it? It moderated considerably. It was cloudy in the morning, and then it went bright sunshine the rest of the day. We lost power at 5:25. That's pretty scary. What's the longest word in the English language? Smiles. Between the first letter and the last letter is 1 mile. What's a cock-a-doodle-don't? What's the opposite of a cock-a-doodle-don't? No, what's the opposite of a cock-a-doodle-doo? A cock-a-doodle-don't. What was on the hypochondriac's gravestone? What was on his tombstone? See? I told you I was sick. Ad in the newspaper. For sale, umbrella by a lady with 2 cracked ribs. Professor, asked the student, is it difficult to become a professor? No, said the professor. You do it by degrees. The owner of the store said to his new employee, I saw you arguing with a customer. The policy in this store is strictly the customer is always right. I never want to see you argue with a customer again. Do you understand? Yes, sir. What were you arguing about? He said, you're an idiot. That joke would apply to the clerk in the penny store up in the women's blouses. She was certainly bad as to customer relations. And pennies is no good. You don't have any more button-down collars, folks. No more button-down ladies' collars. The store didn't have any. They haven't had anything for a while. And then the catalog didn't have any. Just as I am without one plea, but that thy blood was shed for me, and that thou bidst me come to thee, O Lamb of God, I come. I come.